Hi everyone, I am Gabriel Sauvage, and I had the opportunity to be the composer and sound designer on Kite Kid. In this video, I will walk you through the key elements of Kite Kid's audio. I will start by explaining the what is the game and what we, as a team, try to convey to the players. Then, I will showcase the how and why, the choices that were made, and how it translated in terms of asset creation and interactive systems. For this purpose, I will first demonstrate the interactive music system used for the game through gameplay snippets. Secondly, I will showcase the dynamic systems used for the ambiances and kite sounds inside Wwise. You can find Kite Kid on itch.io, following the link in the description. Feel free to share your feedbacks if you have any. You can comment below this video or reach out to me through the following links in the description. Let's begin. First of all, what is Kite Kid? Kite Kid is an adventure contemplative experience. It was designed to be played with an alternative controller, emulating the use of a kite, but can also be played with a gamepad. Through this tale about loss and acceptance, the player follows the story of Kai, a young boy soaring into the sky aboard his kite in order to catch up with the dreamlike figure of Ara, his lost sister. The game revolves around two pillars, immersion and flow. It is composed of three sequences. The first, the sea, and the second, the tempest, are discovered through a rail that the player follows and in which his movements are limited. The third, let's call it heaven, is an open area in which the player moves freely. For the audio, the goal was to create an experience that will tell Kai's story while putting the player in a state of flow. To reach that goal, I first decided that the soundtrack will mainly be composed of wind instruments, le whistle, duduk, xiao, recorder, to better evocate the idea of flying into the sky. Secondly, the music of the game will be composed for and timed following the various cinematic camera movements present in the game. This will allow us to tell the story only through the emotions conveyed by the music, and thus removing the need of any text or dialogue. By this choice, the level design should be designed in accordance with the music and vice versa. To better illustrate this, let me show you a snippet of the first sequence in which Kai arrives on a hill before jumping into the air. Pushing further this idea of synchronicity between visuals and sounds, in the second sequence, the lightning bolts strikes following the rhythm of the music. Have a listen. Later, the appearance of a gigantic Ara's figure launches a choir, displaying her presence through the use of voices. Let's take a look. Thirdly, we decided to rely heavily on the interactive music. This will allow the player to feel constantly linked to his experience, both on a physical and emotional level. When the player succeeds to enter into Windways, a value named build-up grows. but decreases when the player misses one. This build-up value is linked to 6 levels of instrumentation, each bringing one instrument or percussive element to the mix. If the player performs well, he/she is rewarded with the full instrumentation. On the contrary, if she struggles, the number of musical layers diminishes, thus decreasing the cognitive overload and leaving more headroom to focus. Additionally, when the player enters a wind way, the voice of Kai's sister appears briefly, reinforcing the current lead melody, as well as Ara's presence throughout the whole game. Furthermore, the closer the player approaches dangerously from an obstacle, the more a layer of pitched down duduk fades in, increasing feedback. Also, the stronger the player turns left or right, the more a flute arpeggio will appear, highlighting the effort of the maneuver. Finally, in the third area, where the player is free to fly around, the system of build-up is replaced with one that revolves around bird swarms. When the player steps into them, the voice of Ara appears again, but this time in a more dreamy way. As well, the lead of the music played by the low whistle also appears briefly, encouraging the player to dive into bird swarms even more. When it does, the birds continue to follow the player until the end of the sequence. The higher the number of birds, the more other musical layers fade in, allowing the player to reach a memorable ending to his journey. Now, let's enter the matrix. Windpill, Kitepill, Wwise project, I command you to reveal your secrets. Obviously, the sound of the wind, the sound of the kite, and how these were correlated was the most challenging part of the sound design. Originally, I decided to record sounds coming from a real kite, but the results were deceiving. I then opted for the fact of recording these noises from shaken sheets, which allowed to correctly evoke the texture of fabric instead by the visuals of the kite. 3 levels of intensity were recorded and distributed through a blend container. This intensity value is linked to the kite's torque level. And finally, since the animation of the kite were procedural, I generated a RTPC based on the amplitude of the kite sound, then asked the programmer Nino to link this variable to the amplitude of the animation. It resulted in a good match between the two, giving me a lot of flexibility in terms of how and when the kite sounds behaved. For the wind, I decided to use the Soundseed Air plugin in order to have a certain flexibility in terms of sound modulations, while blended with real wind recordings that would ensure a sense of realism. The wind generated from Soundseed Air is modulated by two values, the kite's torque and the wind speed. Finally, the rain ambience from the second area is evolving following the kite's speed. The higher the speed, the higher the pitch. That was it for the Kite Kid's audio presentation. I really hope that you liked it, and if so, please let me know. I will just conclude by reminding you to play the game or maybe share it if you liked it, and have a good day.